Hey, Impact students. My name is Marquita, and this is your Monday motivation. So, I just want to take a few minutes and talk about positioning yourself for a positive outcome. And I want to focus on 2 points. One, the importance of where we position ourselves, and two, being able to trust God with the final outcome. So, we recently wrapped up the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. And next to the World Cup, I believe it's one of the most watched sporting events around the globe. And so, as I was watching this year, I recognized the importance that position plays in practically every sport. If you look at swimming, there's a focus on staying in your own lane, similar to track and field. And if you come out of the blocks wrong, you can hurt yourself. If you come out of the blocks early, you get disqualified and ruin the possibility of winning. If you look at sports where they utilize a ball, where an athlete is in relation to the ball and or the goal will possibly have an impact on the outcome. And so position matters, but not just in sports. Position matters in real life. So if we go to the New Testament, there's the story in the scriptures that talk about the disciples being out all night fishing and they caught nothing. So when they come back in, Jesus is on the shore and he says, "Hey, did you guys catch anything?" And so they are like, "No, we were out all night and we didn't catch nothing." And so Jesus says, "Hey, go back out and try again." Now we're talking about real professional fishermen. We're not talking about amateurs. We're not talking about a group of guys who just out the blue decided, "Hey, let's get together and take a fishing trip." We're talking about professionals, the kind in today's day and age that could do commercials for pro bass shops or have their own show on a Discovery Channel or write a blog with like the top 5 ways to get a big catch. So they knew what they were doing, and they could have easily in their frustration been like, Jesus, you don't even fish. So why would we go back out and do the same thing we've been doing, hoping for a different result, which we know Pastor Nate tells us all the time is technically the definition of insanity. But they go back out. And if you look in the book of John, it says that Jesus even told them to put their nets on the right side. And so we have to figure out what is the right side to position ourselves on for a positive outcome. And so if we get to point number 2, trusting God with the final outcome. So if we go back to our example of the Olympics, one of the most exciting parts of the Olympics is that no matter how talented an athlete might be, no matter how hard they train, we can't always predict the final outcome. If the athlete was going to always be able to position themselves to win, or if the same team won every time, there would be no point in even watching. Like nobody would care because you'd already know the outcome. So in real life, we don't know the final outcome. We can set ourselves up and position ourselves for what we hope to be a positive outcome, but ultimately we have to trust God and trust the process. And so if you think about the example, the disciples did what they typically know to do. They did their part. They went out. But Jesus said, "Hey, put it on the right side." And we know him being who he is, he can't say anything that's not going to come to pass. And so what was different this time was that they had their faith in what Jesus said and they caught a big catch. And so sometimes in life, I struggle or I hesitate to share my faith. I kind of overthink the possible outcome of how it'll play out, and I'm afraid to share because it may not go the way I think it will. But what I have to learn to do is to just position myself in places with opportunities to share and show my faith and trust God with the outcome. Because at the end of the day, I don't have the power to change anybody's heart or mind anyway. So today I just want to encourage you to position yourself for a positive outcome. If it's going back to school, whatever classes you need to take to get where you're trying to go, if it's a job interview or a position you're thinking about, position yourself according to your part and trust God to do exactly what He is going to do and yield the best possible outcome. Be encouraged and take care.